my student, lesson today is rational numbers. That is movie about what the rational numbers.
In this lesson, we're going to be learning about the different classification of numbers, which include natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, and real numbers. So the most basic type of classification of numbers are the natural numbers. And this is a symbol that we use to represent them. Natural numbers include numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. They are often referred to as counting numbers. Now, natural numbers do not include 0 or any negative numbers, as well as any decimals. So, an easy way to remember this is to think of it like this. We all naturally count things starting from 1, and go on to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so forth. But rarely do we count starting from 0. Therefore, this is the innermost basic classification of numbers. The next layer of numbers are the whole numbers.
What natural numbers? In Arabic? Yes? No? Yes? Yes, good. الأعداد الطبيعية, natural numbers. Sit down. What contain?
Stop.
Yes.
Stop. 1 2 3
English?
1 2 3 to infinity.
Good. Thank you. Sit down.
Whole numbers can often be denoted using this symbol. Now, the classification of whole numbers are exactly like natural numbers, in that it includes all of the natural numbers, and it also includes 0. So instead of starting from 1,
Whole numbers. What whole numbers? Whole numbers. In Ali, Arabic. Whole numbers. الأعداد
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 الطبيعية.
No. ايش يسموها؟ whole numbers.
الأعداد الصحيحة مع الصفر. الأعداد
Whole numbers. Natural with 0. Whole numbers. Yes.
تحت الصفر. Stop.
الأعداد الكلية. Whole numbers, that is الأعداد الكلية. What contain? 0, 1, 2, 3 to infinity. Okay? This is natural number, and add 0, that is mean all numbers. Look at the circle. Look at the circle.
numbers start from 0. Another cool way to remember this is to think about it like this. Whole numbers are, but not necessarily the other way around, since 0 is not a natural number. Do note, however, that the classification of these two are still a little bit hazy, as some places might teach you that natural numbers do in fact include 0, disregarding the classification of whole numbers entirely. It is common to see that in set theory or in computer science, since in these fields they actually do count starting from 0. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to include the classification of whole numbers as well. The next classification of numbers is something you are likely to have heard of before. They're called integers. Integers can often be denoted using this symbol. Integers include all the same numbers as whole numbers, like 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Except they also include all the negatives of them as well, such as -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. But again,
what integer numbers? Yes. What in Arabic? What integer numbers? اسمع integer numbers. شو اسمه؟ Yes. الأعداد الصحيحة. Integer numbers. Good. What contains 0, Positive number?
Integers do not include decimals or fractions of numbers. The next classification of numbers are called rational numbers, which can be denoted using this symbol. And again,
he talked about that not contain decimal numbers or fraction numbers. Okay? That is rational numbers, my chapter 2. What contain?
Rational numbers encompass all of the other classifications that we've mentioned so far, as well as decimals and fractions. However, the decimal numbers must be numbers that can be expressed as a fraction, where p and q are integers, and q is not 0. So, for example, 17 over 3 is equal to 5.666 repeating, and since the numerator and denominator are both integers, this is, in fact, considered a rational number. Now, whereas this looks fairly organized with its repeating sixes, even something like 19 over 17, which yields this rather unpredictable looking decimal, would still be considered a rational number. And why? Because this is an integer, and this is also an integer that is not equal to 0. Okay, so far so good. So if I told you that I'm thinking of a number, and that it is a natural number, can you assume that this number is also a rational number?
استنى ده التسويس. استنى.